What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over the trades we end up taking today inside the Discord, as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So this is what we looked like at the open. We obviously ended up gapping down a bit today, and we ended up hitting some major resistance. This is actually the wrong call contract. It's supposed to be the weeklies here, March 6th, and these are the 6th. So we ended up hitting some massive resistance on the puts once again, right at this 4-hour 50. You guys know, if you guys are not new to the channel, you've been watching and follow the system, this 4-hour 50, it's a massive spot in the market, and you can see what we hit right off of open, that 4-hour 50, massive resistance here on the put side, and in turn we end up seeing a pretty hefty bounce, and that's kind of what the outcome is a lot of the times when this 4-hour 50 is sloped down quite a bit. So right off open, you could have kind of expected us to get a solid bounce, and with that in mind, I was looking for some sort of trade to the upside most likely today, given where we were at on the higher time frames. So when it came to the fibs today, this is where we ended up opening at, and you can see where we ended up bottoming at right here off of open, that 68.28 level. Obviously, like the first 5-minute candle is going to be pretty volatile, especially today given all the news over the weekend. So I always stay out the first 15-20 minutes usually, but you guys could see that 69.28 level ended up holding. Obviously, I don't know where we actually ended up opening at, given it's a Hikinashi candle. I can't even scroll back for some reason. For some reason I can't scroll back on the 1 minute, but yeah, I mean, as soon as we kind of held that at 69.28, honestly, you probably could have gave a long out, given we're at that 4-hour 50, but of course I stayed out, and we're just waiting for a setup to develop after open a bit. I didn't trade until after 10 a.m. We had news at 10 a.m. so that's kind of where I was looking to start to look for a trade opportunity, and yeah, I ended up playing longs today. So wasn't the best trade in the world. Didn't get much out of it just because of where we were at here on the fibs. So pretty much I ended up taking the 0DT cross. It was kind of a weird looking chart. It was a bit I don't know why the chart was a little delayed. Usually when the premiums get a little expensive, the chart becomes delayed. So pretty much end up playing this cross right here, 10 SMA going above the 50. It's a very weird looking chart. I don't know why it does this when the premiums get pretty expensive, but I end up playing this cross right here. I ended up entering this at 1201. I think I was filled at 29 on NQ at this time, whatever the 29 level was on NQ. And if we pull up, I'm just gonna pull up NQ so you can see it real quick. 29 was right up in this area, right up in here. So 29 was right up in here. So we dropped 20 points at one point, and then we ripped up all the way up to 77, so just around 50 points, and I ended up selling half on this candle right up in here at 1250, just because we end up nearing the next fib level. There was no really point for me to continue to hold this. If anything, I would have went break even, and at where we're at, there was no point really for me to continue to hold it. Just didn't make sense. I mean, we're at the upper range of the fibs up in here at this level right in here at the 38.2, and this was our neutral range because the 30-minute chart ended up crossing negative, which I'll show you guys here. If we look here, let me find this chart real quick where we actually ended up going negative, because this wherever we cross negative, so this chart right here, I'm going to drag it over. So we end up crossing negative right here, 103. That's when this 10 SMA crossed down the 1 o'clock candle open, and this is important in determining the range that we are in, because we market just went neutral right here. So where are we at? What two fibs are we between when that negative cross happens at 1 o'clock? We are between 68.57, 68.99. Again, ignore the 50% mark. This is only for take profits. I don't use this for anything else besides take profit levels. And when it comes to trading the fibs or playing range, this 68, the green level here, the 50% mark, is just never one we consider. It's not that significant. So that's kind of why I just use it for take profits, because it does kind of bounce a bit, but there's no good way to incorporate it. So that's kind of how I use it. So this is the new range we're in, 68.57, 68.99. So Given we're at that upper range, that's why I ended up selling that. I mean, there was really no point for me to continue to hold it. I mean, if like we're more likely to reject it than to break it. And I know the 30-minute was crossing negative, but again, it's still that upper range where I'm not really sure where we're gonna go. We could easily reject, come back down, or we could break it. I really wasn't sure, so I just ended up selling at the top there, and that was a very good sell because we ended up pulling all the way back here. I 100% would have trailed out by then, because I would have been down a bit on NQ, probably like 50 points if I end up holding that. I mean, 59 or 29. So that's 33. Yeah, I mean, I would have been down on that. So that's why I ended up selling it there, and that was the only trade for the day. Really wasn't anything else to take. It was a pretty choppy afternoon, and then we ended up getting like a solid drop in the afternoon right here. I mean, just a quick drop, really nothing like play. I mean, there's no point in playing this. Like there wasn't a fib reject here to play. I mean, you could actually, no, you would have been stopped actually if you'd taken that, but that really wasn't a trade I was too confident in, just because of like what the 30-minute ended up looking like. So when things aren't that clear, just best to sit out and wait for the next opportunity. So that's pretty much what we did today. If we pull up the charts now, what do we look like? 30-minute chart, obviously, we're neutral on both sides here. Call side, cross down, 10's below the 50, and then on the put side, same thing, 10 estimates below the 50. I would love to see this chart go and cross again. If we could get back bearish trend, make things easy, and we could go to shorting the rib mode, that'd be great. Again, this 450 is going to be something to look out for once we come up into that area again. Typically more times we test it, eventually it's bound to break. So hopefully maybe that's kind of what happens. But again, I'm just going to play what I see, and when it comes to tomorrow, watch for that 30-minute chart. That's an important chart. If we do start to cross, when it comes to the fibs, you're going to be wanting to look for a short. So right now we're still playing this range here. So 68.99 to 68.57 is the current range we are in between. So if we do get a move lower tomorrow and we trend lower, you're most likely going to be playing a short off of the 61.8 level. So if we open below 61.8, look for a retest, or if we just open above it, look for a break and retest of this 68.57 down in here. That's the 61.8% mark on the fib, and that'll be your short trade. And then take profit, next fib. Very simple. And then also in between that mix, whatever happens, I mean, you could play a 0DT cross on puts, average up on a put cross, and that'd be like the A+ setup for tomorrow if we do get a move lower. If we get a move higher, most likely it'll be a 0DT cross or a break above 6,900 and retest, and then average up on a 0DT cross. So I mean, it's pretty much same plan for both sides. We just gotta wait for one direction and wait for the setup to develop and take it from there. So yeah, that's pretty much all I did today, and that's the plan for tomorrow. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. If you guys want to learn, join Discord down below. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm out. Peace.